Hello and welcome to this Prisma tutorial. My name is Frederick, and in this video I will show you an example for a complex short-term auction scenario which exists like that on the platform. This will get a bit complicated, so feel free to stop the video during my explanations to understand the graphically explained aspects. As before, since this is a theoretical approach, I will not use any units since they are not relevant for the understanding. The live example on the platform is the situation at the Dutch border, involving the network points Vreden-Winterswijk OGE and Elten-Zevenaar. The initial setup is as follows. At the first bundle, OGE uploads 80 FZK to Vreden, GTS 200 firm to Winterswijk OGE, and at the second bundle, OGE uploads 100 FZK to Elten, ThyssenGas 100 FZK and 100 BZK to Zevenaar, and GTS 120 firm to Zevenaar. This creates a competition. Both these bundles then compete for the internal capacity on GTS side, which is 150. The matching by the platform is now done like this. At the Winterswijk-Vreden bundle, the uploaded 200 firm of GTS are reduced to 150, since this is the maximum capacity that can be provided on the internal side. Then, 80 firm and FZK are bundled, and the remaining 70 by GTS are offered as unbundled capacity. At the second bundling point, 100 FZK by OGE are bundled with 100 firm by GTS. On ThyssenGas side, 100 FZK are bundled with 100 firm of GTS, and the remaining 20 firm on GTS side are then bundled with 20 BZK from ThyssenGas. The remaining 80 BZK capacity are then offered unbundled. The results of both bundling point auctions will then compete for the 150 internal capacity, which I will call the bigger constraint, since it is the overall capacity that will be competed for. The small constraint is the available 120 capacity on the lower part of the constellation. This means you have 5 competing auctions in total in this constellation. A short-term auction example could look like this. In total we have 7 bids. In auction 1, bid 1 is a min-max of 40 for a surcharge of 4. In auction 2, we have no demand. In auction 3, bid 2 is a min-max of 20 for a surcharge of 2, and bid 3 is for minimum 1, maximum 100 for a surcharge of 3.5. In auction 4, bid 4 is for a min-max 100 with a surcharge of 5. In auction 5, bid 5 is for a minimum 1, maximum 20 with a surcharge of 3.5. And finally, in the only not competing auction, auction 6, both bid 6 and 7 are for minimum 1 and maximum 80. With a surcharge of 3. The platform now assesses all auctions individually according to the uniform price algorithm. This means the shipper with the highest surcharge receives all their capacity, the second receives what remains, and so on. If there are multiple shippers bidding at the same surcharge, a pro rata allocation is used, but more to that later. In auctions 1, 4 and 5, the capacity is allocated to the only shippers that bid for it. In auction 3, only bid 3 is allocated capacity since they had the highest surcharge and used all available capacity. Bid 2 therefore receives nothing. Although auction 6 is not in competition, I want to use it as an example how pro rata allocation is done. Since both bids have the same surcharge, pro rata is used. It is calculated with the following formula. Maximum demand of the bid divided by the sum of all bids at this surcharge times the amount of remaining capacity. In the case of auction 6, this means 80 divided by 160 times 80, which equals 40. This means both bids will be allocated 40 capacity at a surcharge of 3. Now the platform looks at the small competition constraint, which applies to auctions 3, 4 and 5. The individual auction results of these 3 auctions are now considered together as one auction with an available capacity of 120, the small competition constraint. This means that bid 4 is allocated its maximum of 100 because it has the highest surcharge. The remaining capacity is now allocated to the next highest bids, bid 3 and 5. Since the cumulated capacity of both bids would exceed the remaining capacity of 20, pro rata allocation is used again. For bid 3, the calculation is 100 divided by 120 times 20, which equals 16.67, which will be rounded to 17. For bid 5, it is 20 divided by 120 times 20, which equals 3.33, which will be rounded to 3. Now the platform takes these results and moves them to the bigger competition constraint of 150. Here the process is repeated. Bit 4 is allocated its maximum of 100 because of the highest surcharge. The second highest bit is bit 1 with a surcharge of 4 for min-max 40 capacity, which is also fully allocated. The remaining 10 capacity is then again split pro rata for bit 3 and 5. For bit 3, this results in an allocation of 8.5, which is rounded to 9, and for bit 5 in 1.5, which is rounded to 1 according to the uniform price auction rounding rules. In the end, the results are as follows. Bit 4 gets 100 capacity, bit 1 gets 40, bit 3 gets 9, and bit 5 gets 1. Since the lowest surcharge of a bit that received capacity is 3.5, the clearing price for the whole capacity is 3.5 according to the uniform price auction rules. I hope I could provide you with helpful information, but if you have any further questions regarding this topic, please do not hesitate to contact the Prisma customer care team. My name is Frederick, and I wish you a pleasant day.